Guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to remove the smell of mothballs from your clothing. I used to have articles up that described how to remove the smell of mothballs, how to use natural products, how to recycle, reuse, and repurpose different items that you have in your home. And when all of this stuff happened, I took it down. So I would like to go back to putting those things up gradually. This thing is still ongoing, but at least I'll be able to get back to some of the things I used to do. So in this video, I want to tell you about how to remove the smell of mothballs from your clothing. A lot of us who are old enough, we actually used to use mothballs, so we know how to remove the smell of mothballs from our clothing. But also, if you are someone who is buying previously worn clothes, you may not know. So I would like to give you some information about that. This used to be my old A Cup of Jar Productions logo. And as I mentioned, we are going to discuss removing the smell of mothballs from your clothing. Thrifters and resellers know one of the hazards of buying old clothes, mothball smell. So I'm going to give you tips on how to remove that smell. So let's get going. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out with baking soda, and you're going to use the quantity. It's not a perfect science. It's going to be based on how much you think you will need. So if you're doing it in a laundry, what I do recommend is pre-soaking the clothing based on the fabric. So if you're just using like a cotton shirt, or if you're trying to remove the smell from something that can go safely in the washing machine, you'll put a little bit of baking soda in, and that'll help remove the scent. If you're doing this with a delicate fabric like cashmere, I don't recommend putting baking soda in. I'll do a separate video on how to remove the smell of mothballs from cashmere or delicate wools and delicate fabrics, but I'll do that at a later date. So let me go ahead and start off by telling you what you'll need. So you'll need baking soda, you'll use some vinegar, and you'll also be able to use, okay, I'm having a little too much fun in that clip of the vinegar. You'll need a container to hold it in. And let me make sure I take the sound off this so that you don't get any sound. Okay, so we're going to do some vinegar, baking soda. We'll get a little bit of water, and the water will be, you're going to do a pre-soak on this. I wouldn't recommend, if you have a lot of clothes, to put it in the washing machine, because you don't want to keep washing and washing. It's best to do a pre-soak. Okay, and then what you're going to do is, before you even use any sort of detergent, because you don't want to cover the smell of the mothballs, you want to remove the smell of the mothballs. So what you'll do is you'll get something to soak it in. Once you have a container to soak it in, you'll fill that container with your water based on how many items you have. You'll add your baking soda. You'll start out with a small amount of vinegar, because what you're trying to do is not to overwhelm the fabric with the smell of vinegar, even though you're going to wash it after. So you're going to use a little bit of vinegar and then add more vinegar as you go along if you need to. And you'll add your item. And what I recommend is, when you add your item, make sure the color isn't going to run. So look at the water to see if the color is running. If so, remove the item from the vinegar bath. So once you do that, if it's okay, let it sit. Let it soak for at least half an hour. If it still has a smell, add more vinegar. So after you're adding more vinegar, you're swishing it around, and then you'll be able to see if it still has the smell of mothballs. Once you've let it soak for that half an hour, you wring it out and smell it. See if it smells like mothballs. If it needs a second round, then go ahead and soak it again. Add more vinegar. So this time you're not going to do the baking soda. You just add vinegar. So what you're really doing is doing a vinegar bath. And again, if it's color fast and there's a problem, you're going to check on that. If not, just continue to let it soak. And then after this second time, it should not smell like mothballs. You're going to wring it out. If it's a fabric that's delicate, you can put an old towel and roll it in the old towel so you're not wringing it. So take the old towel, wring it out, and once you wring it, let it dry. If you can, put it in the sun. If you put it in the sun, that's usually the best way to dry it and make sure it removes the smell. If you can't, you can put it, if it's okay, in a dryer. And the dryer will help dry it, but also release the scent. Because the scent is usually trapped in the fabric, so the dryer will help release the scent. So that should help you remove the smell of mothballs. Like I mentioned, in the future, I plan on uploading a video on how to remove the mothball smell from delicate fabrics like lace, cashmere, and certain types of wool. I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching.